Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you today on Channel 52 with my third show with Mother's Unique Nature. And today I have a beautiful panel with me, and this time I'm actually sharing some personal, conversation because these people are very close and old friends with me. So I am actually extremely excited to have them on. Thank you all, ladies, for joining me today with your cup of tea.
It's a pleasure.
Thank
Our
you for
pleasure.
having us, Amber.
Thank you.
My
So
pleasure. Thank you.
So the first person I'm gonna introduce, the first mom. Her name is Rahila Rahman, and she's a lawyer. And they're joining us from London. So I know it's 5 hour difference, and you guys, it's pretty late there. So thank you, Rahila. Please tell Rashida. Please tell us, about your unique career. I know you're a lawyer. What kind of lawyer you are, and what kind of community do you serve?
Yeah, so thanks, Amber. I'm a financial services regulation lawyer. Uh, so I worked for the regulator the UK regulator who regulates banks, basically financial services in the UK. So they can be mortgages, company, financial advisors, and basically, banks and building societies. So I worked at the regulator for almost 14 years. I qualified there as a solicitor. Then I got an associate position. Then I thought that, I needed a change in my career, and I needed to make some change, basically. And, at that juncture of life, I felt like if I don't make that change, it's not going to happen. So I took that step, and then I moved to private practice. So I now work for a solicitor's firm, and I work in London City. And
Awesome.
again, specializing in financial services regulation.
Awesome. It's actually, I take it my personal pride when women are involved in financial, institutions, because I consider women as, the backbone of society. So, thank you. And we will be finding more about that. The second person I'm going to introduce is a very, very close and a dear friend. And, I actually want to give you a hug over the screen. We're meeting after many, many years. So, Shaila Rahman, you're a physician, and it's such a pleasure to meet you. We have been, hostel mates too. So, please tell us
Thank
about
you.
your journey after we left. What happened?
So, so I'm working now as a general practitioner in London, and I've been working for the NHS, which is the National Health Service in England, for I'd say over 15 years, close to 20. So my background is where I've trained in general medicine in Queen's Hospital in London. Whilst doing that, I got married, and I realized I wasn't enjoying that much of the work anymore, and I wanted a bit more of a work-life balance, a bit more family time. So I became a general practitioner, and I trained in Cambridgeshire. And after my training, I've been working as a general practitioner in London for over 10 years now, and I basically specialize in women's health, sexual reproductive health, and family planning. And I'm also a medical undergrad teacher, and I also supervise. I'm a clinical supervisor for doctors in training in London.
Thank you so much. You're doing so much, and especially being a teacher, we will be coming back to ask those questions. And last not but least, the next person I'm introducing is actually very close person and a family member of mine. Janat Chaudhary. She's actually my sister-in-law also, and I actually take a personal pride for bringing her, introducing her as a unique mom. There is so much that I learned from her. Thank you, Apu, for joining us today.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to all Channel 52 viewers in every location. I want to thank you guys for being with us and tuning into Channel 52 right now. First of all, Amber, I want to thank you so much for inviting me, and I also wanted to thank Channel 52 for inviting me to this show. I really felt honored to be part of this show. Although I feel that I'm not really a right person to be on the show, I'm not really, I don't like to be center of the attention, but I felt, very good for the opportunity. Anyway, my name is Tina Chowdhury. I'm blessed mother, mother-in-law, grandmother, wife, daughter, sister, sister-in-law. I'm currently working in finance for Coordinate Digital, Israel-based company. Prior to my current job, actually, I worked for Ferrari, the world's most brand name and exclusive car company. I also worked for German bank, Deutsche Bank, for over 20 years, and where I was in the management position. I was able to help my community people with the qualified folks to get a job, suitable position within the bank. I'm also founder and president of America Bangladesh Educational Fund. This is a nonprofit organization where we, provide a scholarship to underprivileged students in Bangladesh. This organization basically supported by my friends, family members. During 2020 pandemic period, we were able to provide a scholarship to over 50 students and location in Bangladesh. So basically I came to USA in very early age, and we were so blessed to have family guardian who supported us to start our new life here in the USA. I'm very proud to be a citizen of the great country in the world. um, I started in Virginia, but graduated from Maryland High Point High School. And after I got married, I basically came to New Jersey. And my husband and I, we both went to William Patterson College. I have two boys who are currently doctors. Um, they were raised and born and raised here. Um, I guess I'll stop here and we'll start.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for the intro. So I want you guys to relax. This is just a tea. We're going to have a cup of tea with us, and just relax and, chill. So to do that, I will start with, motherhood. Motherhood, as we all are Muslim, so, and non-Muslim as well, it says that, the level of mom is that high that the Jannat is underneath the mother's feet. So having said that, this thing, it brings us such an important value for mothers, and the level to increase of motherhood is not just 1 or 2 days thing. And as we are growing, we do realize, when I became a mother, I started valuing more of my own mother, my own grandmother, because you see that how difficult it was for them, even at smaller things. So I want to take you guys back in your childhood, and let's start with, what is the first memory that you guys have? So let's start with Rashida. The first memory that you have, a good one.
Oh God. A very difficult question. The first memory that I had as a child.
Yes.
Oh, well, basically it's the warmth, the warmth of my mom, and being around her, being hugged by her. Yeah, I have to say, that's my first memory. I have to say, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember how old were you?
Well, I don't know. I don't know, 3 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah, it's just little flashes of memory.
Okay.
You know, uh, uh, you know, I really can't remember everything from that stage, but
Okay.
yeah, little flashes of memory. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Shala, what do you remember?
So my mother has always been a homemaker. She's been the backbone for our family. And so my memories of childhood is where my father always went to work, dropped us off at school, picked us up from school. But when I came home, my mom did all the home work. She did all the cooking, feeding us, making sure everything was, our laundry was done. So everything, I mean, she kept the home running. I think if she didn't keep the home running, then I don't think we would have been, we wouldn't have had our life so easy. So I think my mom contributed a lot to my and my brother's lives. And she's the one who pushed my father into making sure we're doing our extracurricular activities. We're trying to progress in life and she always pushed us. And I think partly what I am today is because of my mother. My mother wanted me to come this far, and I've been, touch wood, I have come this far because of her blessings.
Awesome. Very true. Very true. So, Apu, what do you remember as your first memory?
Amber, you do realize that I'm not as young as Rashida and Shaila, so it's a way, way back to remember.
We're not talking about age here.
I know, but the memory comes with age. But yes, there was a lot of memories in the childhood because we were grown up in the village, so it's a lot to talk about. But one of the things that I wanted to say that this is really stuck in my mind all the time. My nanny she loves to travel, so she will drag us everywhere, wherever she wants to go. We were like maybe 4, 5, 6 years old, not even that. So we went to her parents' house, but we had to go by the lake. Back then in the village, there is no roads, that you can go by car or rickshaw or anything. So you have to really go by boat. So sometimes it would take like 6, 7 hours. It's like now it's like 10, 15 minutes, but back then 6, 7 hours. So I do remember that we were in the boat and we slept, and we, they used to do the cooking, it's things like that. So this thing, like, like I don't think we can ever go back and see those things. So there's some of this, enjoyable time that we did with the, family together. And, there's a lot of things to talk about, but that's one of the things that to date I remember. Sometimes it's like I dream about it, like I'm laying down in the boat and the people are cooking, and they used to give us like candies and stuff like that. We were like jumping around, things like that. Yeah.
It's actually such a beautiful thing that you have such a clear memory of your childhood, and you can even remember the areas and picnic, and and then you can link to your dreams as well. I'm part of Montclair State Early Childhood Fellowship Program, and we link the memories of childhood, and as much as a person can go back with the clarity, sometimes with the colors and things, exactly as you're explaining, that shows that how much that person is a good planner financially, as you both, Rashida is linked with finance, and Apu, you are linked with finance as well. So that it shows how from childhood somebody is already linked with their future professions, and what they're gonna become. So that's amazing. I'm gonna take some comments here. There's a lot of viewers joining. Amir Hamza saying welcome. Hussein Chaudhry is watching. Saiful Islam saying meet Chaudhry. Amir Hamza again. Sahar is saying it's so good to see you, Shaila. And Dr. Seema is watching. There's a question for all of you guys. It's, what do you each guest cherish? The most unique gift from being a mother?
So what was the question again? What was the most unique?
Yeah, what do our each guest cherish the most unique gift from their moms or being motherhood?
I'll go first. Well, when I really see them, I get very excited. I mean, every moment I think of my children. And whenever I talk with them, I mean, because they're very busy and stuff like that, we don't really do a lot of chatting. But when I see them in person, it makes me really feel good. And I really feel good, especially now and during this pandemic situation, that my both son and my daughter-in-law, they are in the front line and helping people out, and that really makes me very proud and feel blessed and feel good.
That's really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Shall I go next?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I think that the most rewarding thing that as a mom I feel when I look at my children, they're growing up and I feel like they're growing up to be uh, nice human beings in their own age, um,
Mhm.
and when they come and give me a hug and say that mommy I love you without any rhyme or reason, suddenly, my daughter will come and will say, "Mommy, I love you." Oh, that's just a priceless feeling, and especially when I lie down with them, at the end of the day, probably, reading a book. It's that comfort, that warmth,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I think
absolutely.
I think it's the same for me. It's the cuddles, the big cuddles, and sometimes I feel those cuddles and those hugs are more than I mean, I sometimes feel I need it more than him sometimes. Um, and yeah, but little does he know that. But then he's just getting the cuddles and the warmth from me. And but nowadays, I think my son is now 7 years old, and he's a very active boy. So he does a lot of running around, and it's very difficult to get hugs and cuddles as I used to. Uh, and to get it, I have to actually sometimes, get him to like forcefully come and hug me, and that's my way of giving him, the comfort and the love, and he gives it back to me too. But I mean, I agree with both of you. I think it's basically seeing my son and feeling very proud of him, of the things he's doing at school, the things he's bringing back home, if he's done a little bit of good homework or a little bit of good handwriting, just little things like that would make me feel like, hey, he can do this, and I feel very proud. I think, I guess, I mean, on reflection, so when I think about how my parents used to be proud of me when I was young, I never got it at the time. But now, when I see my son doing it, I just feel, I feel very proud, and now I know where all that feeling came from.
Yeah.
When I used to see my parents feeling happy for me, you know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I agree with Rashida. It is like it's for us more needed. And many times I remember Apu telling me that time is gonna pass so fast. So enjoy the moment. So
Yeah.
and it does pass. So I want to come to you, Apu, because you raised two very successful, mashallah, two successful boys, and they're very close to me as well. And we all are in the family very proud of them. As a mother, what is your advice? Because it's not easy, especially when we are in American countries or Western countries, coming back from home and doing everything on our own in this culture and working, being a working mom as well, doing everything by ourselves. Having that balance in life. There are ups and downs. So what is the success to be such a successful mom raising two successful physicians?
Well, to me, you just have to be a mother. Just be with them. When my both children were born, especially when Junaid was born, I put him to babysitter, and a month or so, I just couldn't deal with it because it was like very hard for me to leave the boy and go to work. And so I decided to take a night shift, evening job, and just be a mother, stay with them, give them as much as time you can. Like I said, the time really flies because I now to date I feel like I want to go back 25 years, because every little small thing they do, that's a joy. The first step they when especially with the older one, because I was like a child too. I was only 22 years old when I had my older son. So I was able to enjoy as they grow up, in the teenager years, you're going to have little rough time because you're no longer cool to them, so you try to be cool, go along, try to be cool. Because I remember, especially my younger one, Jared, when I went to pick him up from his school, he didn't like me to be in front of this school because I'm not cool anymore, but he was in elementary school, yeah, that was fine. So just be friendly, be honest, and try to find out what they did. They do in the beginning, they do ask you a lot of questions, but then at some point when you ask them questions they don't want to answer. But we just try to be friendly with them. If they want to go to movies, let them go to movie, but you buy the ticket and make sure they went to the movie theater, because nowadays it's things are different. You have to watch them.
Yeah.
To me, one of the things that I never let my two sons do is like don't lock the door when they were teenagers. But why not? Why can't we lock? We can, but you try to explain to them nicely, friendly way, because God forbid something happened, there's a fire, we have to call you, things like that. But at the same time, you cannot be too easy, and you cannot be too strong either. So to me, just be mother, be there for them. Like I said, I did work at night, but when they were in high school, I worked during the day. I took my lunchtime for them because fortunately I was very fortunate, to work near my home. During the lunchtime, I used to pick them up. They wanted to play game, I dropped them off to the game, pick them up, just be there for them. And this time just gonna go so fast. You will realize by the time you flick your eyes, they're already grown up, they're out of the house. So just be mother, be friendly, listen to them. They will give you a hard time sometime here and there. Just try to have a thick skin. And one of the most important thing to me is like you both have to be, you and your husband has to be in the same page, because these children, what they try to do is they try to see where they can get more sympathy. So if I say no, something to no, they'll go to their fathers, ask them, and the father says yes, then they're going to go to the father all the time. So if your husband says no to something, even though you think it's wrong, but again, just try to be a team player. But then later you guys talk about it, and if they deserve it, if you wanted to give it to them, give it to them. But the most important thing to me is it's your husband and wife, mother and father has to be on the same page.
You're absolutely right.
I was very fortunate. My kids were very lucky, because I have my brothers. I'm always grateful to my brothers and my family members, because they were always there for me. If something bothered me, I used to call my brother, because my children were like I said, they were born and raised here, and my brother were like basically raised here. They came in very early age, so they understood each other, because even though I came from, like I said, from the village, maybe my understanding was a little different. I was a little bit more conservative, and my husband was, also a little conservative. So my brothers, they understood their language, so every time I needed help, and to me, again, maybe I'm talking too much, but to me, you need to get your family involved. Some of us, what happened is like, because our Deshi culture, when our kids do something, we try to hide it because we think the society will say shame on you, things like that. But you don't want to hide it. You want to talk to the right person. If something bothering you or your children is doing something wrong, you want to talk to the right person to see where you can get help. Don't hide it. Don't put it under the carpet. You know, so you know, sort it out, and that's, you know, that's my motherly advice. I want to
Yeah.
say, yeah.
Well, you're absolutely right. You gave such two very key important points. Number one is that, be a team player. You and your spouse has to be on the same page. That's how kids can get the same message. And, at the same time that, talk to the right person. Extremely important, especially always. But now I think each generation has its own challenges. So, Shala, I'm coming to you next.
Mhm.
So challenges, and I know your family's around too, but being a professional, there are many challenges, and I know that you're teacher too. You're teaching medical school.
So I think my challenges with motherhood was when I basically went back to work after my maternity leave. I struggled. I mean, I struggled in the sense that I had to get my son into a nursery. Prior to nursery, he just knew how to speak Bangla and he didn't know any English, and it was like getting him used to a nursery where they all speak English. And thankfully, I think I had a good child. I mean, I had a good nursery, and the nursery teachers there, they picked up some Bangla words to try and speak to him, to try and accommodate him. Little things like that mattered a lot to me. So for the first month, he cried. He just cried. And I found that very tough to deal with. I felt guilty going off to work, leaving him at the nursery, but that went on for a month. But after a month, I just thought, I saw him basically get used to it. And then I started seeing him, loving it. And I thought, hold on, if he was at home with me, I wouldn't be doing as much as he is doing in the nursery and, playing with other children, seeing other children, developing more, so I slowly started getting used to the idea that, no, this is good for him. But it was tough for me because I felt like, I had the guilty mom feeling. I still have the guilty mom feeling. I don't know if I'm doing right or if I'm doing wrong. But there's only so much I think you can read about or know things theoretically, but when you come to applying it practically, it's something that you just have to improvise on and get on with it, if you know what I mean. So, I struggled when he went into nursery and going back to work, but I had the support, thankfully. I had my parents living near me. I have my brother and his wife living near me. So they all kind of like chipped in. I have Joya living near me. So they all chipped in to try and help me with managing work. I mean, the most important person that I feel I've not mentioned yet is my husband. I think he's worked full time, and we shared it out. We both of us shared it out, looking after my son, like working and doing the home stuff, cooking, cleaning, feeding the child, changing nappies. We both did it together, and 7 years has just gone like that. And it's becoming a little easier day by day. But I think it's very important to have the support to be able to work and to be able to be a mom and bring a child up. So I think, I wouldn't say all my problems have gone, but it's problems that I know I'm always going to have. But there are always like solutions at the end of the day, and it'll all work out with time. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Support system is extremely important. And
yes, yeah.
People who don't have support system, they have to create a support system. Could be friends or whatever it could be. So it's lucky to have family around. Rashida, your turn.
Yeah, my only support system is, to be honest, apart from my husband, is Shaila, because I don't have anyone, no family here. So my parents are based in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and my brother is based in New York. He's in exactly in the same boat as me because he hasn't got anyone there. So it's been me and my husband basically just working as a team. Otherwise it's absolutely impossible to be able to cope with the challenges. So yeah, I don't know, looking back when I had my first one, I was also young, and my first time mom always like trying to prove that I have to go that extra mile, do everything to be to fit in everything. And my first one was when she was born, she was really really tiny, and she had a little bit of a heart problem, but thank God, thanks to Allah, that we passed that quite quickly. Um, but
Thank you.
that was the first challenge. Then I had to be back at work when she was 6 months old. My body was still recovering, and she was so tiny that we couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford staying away from work for a long time. So I went back, and then it's just the challenge of constant, as Shyla said, just feeling guilty that my God,
Mm.
I'm here. What am I doing here? And but I was lucky that my husband, he was a restaurant manager then, so he could work shifts. So he didn't have to go to nursery, so tiny. So it was like I was coming back from work, and then he was like, "Here you go, here's fire. It's all yours now." Now that was, then it was his turn
Mm.
to go to work. So it was very very challenging, especially
Mm.
that you don't have any family around.
Yeah.
So it's like just working around the clock. And then and then basically like homework. Then when they start going to the nursery, they get really sick. All kinds of germs,
Mm.
kick in. But yeah, and then coping, and then my younger one came along in 2013. That was another challenge because I felt again guilty that I'm not paying it enough attention to the baby. I'm not paying enough attention to my older one. It's just it's a constant struggle. But I have to say that I was much calmer as a mom with my younger one, definitely.
Yeah.
But as Shala said, challenges never stop as a
Yeah.
business owners. And now it's a
Yeah.
different kind of challenge because my older one, she's 11. She's got her own room now. And as Jeanette was mentioning that, closing the door, and she wants to close the door and she wants to be on her own.
Mm.
And I'm like, I'm trying to cope with that as well because it's a big change. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's never ending.
Absolutely right. And I can see the support system between both of you, because when I was asking Shala, she said, "I'm gonna come if only my friend comes on the screen with me." So I see that connection between both of you
I
guys.
said, I said I'm not doing this on my own. But and you asked me a long time ago whether I wanted to do it, and I said, I'm not really great with public speaking. But and then finally I've agreed. And I said, okay, fine, I'm not gonna do this on my own. I'll ask my friend.
So, and I'm
Um,
doing
So
this because
personally, I personally thank you,
so,
Rashida, for doing this, because
yes,
she
thank
came
you.
because of you. And but that just shows the support system, that how you guys have that, and the trust, and the partnership that you guys have. I just want to take some more comments, because there's a lot of love. A lot of your friends are saying hello, hi. I see Mr. Salamuddin saying hi. He has lost his mom, but he really appreciate this mom show. Shankar from BM9 is watching and
Oh,
saying hi.
Shankar.
Yes. Kareem Qureshi is saying hi, watching. Sahar is saying looking beautiful. Faryal is saying hi. Tasneem Adnan Chaudhary is saying, Niru Bhabi, you're looking amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Atiqur Rahman is saying, Gunab Bhabi, you're wonderful, great speaker. Sahar is saying, great answer on Jinat answer. And Sultana Haq is also watching. People are giving a lot of your love. Um, Sabina Arif from Pakistan is watching. Uh, Sabir Hussain is watching from Saudi Arabia, sending loves and hearts. Nadia Chaudhry saying, good going, Mrs. Chaudhry, very proud of you. So a lot of people are sending their loves and messages. One question I have, the first piece I helped without knowing that what is going on to happen. Okay, I don't see a question here. What do you think your child needs most as they grow older? What do you think moms should do if they want something that is not good for them? So that's a question. That's a question from Mirza. Were you guys able to hear the question?
Can you repeat the question again? Sorry, couldn't. It wasn't clear.
Okay, so the question is, what do you think your child needs most as they're growing older? What do you think as a mom should do if you know that the something that they want is not the right one, is not a good thing for them?
I mean, the only thing, shall I go first? Yeah. Yeah.
Please.
So I think the only thing right now that comes to mind is my son is obsessed with playing Roblox, and it's online games and online things are quite an unknown territory for me, and I find that a bit scary with everything, with all the bad stuff that goes around online. I mean, I think the school has also prepped us. The school also preps us every year about how to go about monitoring this. But you're never prepared for it unless you face it yourself. But I think Roblox, we've installed a safe mode. So he's basically chatting to only his friends. He's only got about 4 or 5 friends on there. And it's only just for friends or cousins. That's it. But you never know with all these chatting. I mean, all these little loopholes, all these people wanting to chat with them. So you just don't know. So I sneakily, being a mom, I'm always sneaking up and just making sure that things are safe. And there's nothing odd going on there. So I think that's a challenge. I think the whole new era of online platforms and online gaming and online, being able to chat or access information, any information, just by clicking on a phone, and there are certain things you don't want to expose your child to, and there are certain things you want them to know. So it's trying to find that balance between the two, I guess. And just keeping an eye out. I mean, that's my challenge at the moment. That's the only thing that I can think of right now affecting me.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree because, roadblocks, my youngest son is into that also. And I want to make sure that who is he talking to? And when you download the application, it says the age group, but he was signing up for older than his age group. So I have my other kids, sneaking up because I need to know what's going on. And then I had to change the application, So, and as you said, they're way more smarter than us. They know how to maneuver things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see Amir Hamza is saying, so good to see you all. Thank you for watching. Rashida, go ahead.
Yeah, I think for me, more than the game thing, I think it's just having girls probably. It's a bit different, but still, I think for me it's the screen time for both of them because I'm busy. I'm working. During COVID, I've been working from home. To begin with, it was quite difficult because trying to juggle working from home and then doing homeschooling, trying to do homeschooling. That was a big challenge. But I keep on saying that luckily my older one is she loves reading, so I got it a bit easier with her. But the younger one, he's like, very much into screen, and it's the screen time. So I find it quite challenging. But basically, just to say that, look, if I'm on the screen and you're trying to come and talk to me, and I'm on the screen, I'm not talking to you, not making eye contact, how would you feel? you know is it really nice? So it's just talking to them, and then it's not just read, take a break from the screen. I think that's my biggest challenge with both of them, really. Not with the older one, not that much, but with the younger one is the screen time.
Yeah, and with the you know COVID-19 screen time, the other thing
Yeah.
is that what we're supposed to do, how much can we entertain them?
Yeah, exactly, because you really can't go out, you really can't do anything.
Yeah.
There are restrictions now. They're lifting restrictions in UK, so it's a bit easier, but it's a big challenge for children, to keep
Yeah.
themselves busy as well, and
Yeah.
especially for parents,
Yeah.
that balance. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Apu, you're next.
Sure. Actually, I went through those challenges already. It was really tough back then. I mean, nowadays it's technology is more, you're able to catch and things like that what your kids are doing. But I'm talking about 20 years, 1 years ago. It was more challenging. So I used to do a lot of sneaking too. You know. I used to go to my kids' room, because, like I said, they were playing baseball, basketball, and I used to check their book bag and closet underneath the bed. I mean, they don't know that. I mean, now if they hear me, they're gonna say, "Oh, wow, she was a crazy mother back then," But I used to do all of those. Like I said in the beginning, you really, really have to be a team player. You have to work with your spouse. You have to be both have to be on the same page. So I remember we had to put some kind of device to see who they were chatting with, especially my younger one. He was, and he was a little bit more into, technology and chatting and stuff like that. So basically, like I said, I went through those challenges, and you just have to be on top of things. Sometimes, especially you guys not there yet, but when they get into their teenagers, that's when they think they know all, and they can get away with things. But you just have to be careful. Just sneak in, ask them question, even if they don't want to answer, they think you're bothering them, but you still want to, have to have a thick skin and talk to them. And if they want to go somewhere, tell them that you're going to drop them off, and which I did. Actually, I didn't let my kids have the car until they, they graduated from high school. The younger one, yes, I did. He had a car when he was in the 12th grade, but I only let him have 2 days a week. My husband was a very strong person. What he used to do, because we used to give them a time. By this time, they have to be home. And if they're not home, or even 5 minutes before, my husband would start calling them. Where are you guys? Are you guys home yet? And I know sometimes they don't want to pick up the call, but he still would call and look at the window, and just by his look, they know that he's mad, and things like that. You just have to be. I mean, like I said, you got to be easy, and at the same time, you have to be a little strong too. So you have to balance it out.
Yeah, that's
So, like I said, I went through a lot, but again, I have a lot of family support. My brothers were there, my parents were there. Anytime anything used to bother me, I used to share. My husband especially used to share with my father. They were very close, and I used to think that my father was, what we call feresta. Whenever he prayed for us, things happened. Anytime anything used to bother us, my husband he used to share with my father and say, "Baba, please, pray for them," things like that. it just it's not easy, being a mother, especially nowadays. It's a challenging. It's just something that we have to um, just be there, be strong. If you need help, there's a lot of helps out there nowadays. Like I said, our time maybe it wasn't that many, but nowadays there's a lot of help. Reach out, don't be ashamed. Reach out to your close person, family members, even doctors, whoever. Reach out for help, and there's a lot of technique nowadays that you can
I'm
utilize.
actually going to take a question because Salahuddin is asking a question, and I know that as you said, that between husband and wife, mother job never ends. As Rashida was saying, working at night, coming home, but my husband is giving me the kid that, hey, you take care. So mom job never ends. You work, and then when you come back, you're still expected to do that. So the question he's bringing up is regarding a mother raising two kids, bipolar. One child is mentally sick. She's looking for money or using someone's to need that she pretend, domestic violence abuse. I know this is a difficult platform and difficult question, but I'm gonna go to Shana because you teach and in
So-
medical profession you do see that.
So is this someone suffering with sort of two children, and one of them's got sort of mental health problems and the other one with special needs,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yes. And the mom is going through domestic violence abuse as well. This person, I'm not sure is he from Sydney or from where, but that was the comment that have sent
I
me.
mean, I don't know how it works in Sydney, but if it's something here in the UK, we would strongly advise. I mean, as a general practitioner, we always look out for symptoms for any mom or anyone who comes in with certain problems. And if we suspect anything, or we always try and catch on the cues that they give us, and we try and explore further. And I mean, so I work in an area where there is predominantly Bangladeshis. So I do come across a lot of cases similar to this, and I have handled a lot of cases like this. But you have to basically, in cases where there's domestic violence, you have to actually spend a lot more time with these patients when they come in. You need to sort of try and figure out whether there is like an immediate risk. If there is an immediate risk for the mom, if there is an immediate risk for the children, we would actually have to contact what we call our safeguarding team, and get the safeguarding team involved. But it's always, I mean, in cases where you think the mom is going through this but is not brave enough to talk about it, I think the role of the physician is basically, or the role of anyone, I would say, is to try and pick up on the cues and try and direct them or give them support and direct them to where they can access help and access services. If they're living in Sydney, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to access that help.
Actually, you led to the right.
Yeah, I mean, there's many services out there, I'm pretty sure, where they deal with domestic violence and abuse. Yeah.
So he had a follow-up question, which he clarified. His question is, what is the role of being a mother when she's abused? So that's a more straightforward question.
What is the role of a mother when you're being abused?
Yes. What is the role of a
mother? I think in this case, if you ask me personally, I think the role of the mother is to protect the children. I think people get into like a vicious cycle where I think women can get stuck in a vicious cycle where they think, okay, this is happening, I'm upset about it, but this is my husband, this is my partner, he loves me at the end of the day, I can't, for what this is, they kind of end up normalizing it when it's not normal, okay? So I think if you love your children and you think something's not right, and if you're in a place like Sydney, I would say you step away and you try and find out where you can access help. This is going to go on for a lifetime. You wouldn't want your children to grow up in an environment like that. You would want you would want to step out and try and make a better life for you and your children.
Absolutely. Actually, thank you, Mr. Salahuddin, for asking such an important question. I'm gonna continue the same question with Rashida. What is your answer on that?
Well, fair for the children to grow up in an environment like that. Of course, you will have sort of disagreement with your spouse. You will have fights as well, but just keep them out of it. To be honest, and it's not fair on the children to see this. So, absolutely agree with Shaila that if in such situation, just seek help and protect your children. That's the most important thing.
Okay. Apu, what is your comeback on that?
I agree with Shaila. You have to, first of all, you have to find out why the person is abusing, why. Maybe that person also have a mental issue. So you need to seek out for help for that person as well. So your children, because the children are children, they don't understand. So you do have to protect because they are counting on you. So you have to protect them and seek out for help. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and because it's I see this on a daily basis with my profession. It is very hard. It is very sometimes it feels like that we work so much with a mother to show her and teach her every right thing, but at the end of the day, it's the mom who has to make the move, and it's the mom who has to make the right choice. And Shaila, I cannot agree more with you that that one wrong choice is actually teaching our kids that it's okay to be abusive. It's okay. So at the same time, if the mother is not taking the right step, she's agreeing with the perpetrator, and she's agreeing with it's okay to insult me. It's okay to stay with that and stay in that abuse. But it's very hard. It is very hard for that person to make that first move. That first move.
Yes, it is very hard. I mean, I've seen people. It's very hard for them to make that move and make that decision and make that step. It's a big bold step, but at some point, I think if you want to make that life for your children and for yourself, you need to make that step. But there are services, there are people there out there to help them, and I think that's how they should try and get that help. Try and find out more, explore more.
Yeah. So I know we're coming very close to our time, and you see how the time flew like this. So I have one question from all three of you. I'm giving you a choice. You have the power to change one thing in your life, and it can be anything. So what would be that one thing? I will go with Apu, you first.
If I think I have a blessed life. I don't know if I want to, change anything.
My God.
Like I said.
So you're passing it on to both of them.
The only thing that sometimes I regret, I don't regret that I never were able to finish up my education because I gave up for my children, and I wanted to make sure that my husband gets higher education here in this country. So, but if I had I had the opportunity, maybe I didn't use it. But if I go back, I think I wanted to go back and finish up my degree. But I'm blessed. I'm happy the way I am. Yeah.
Okay, so Shaila, you're next. You got one chance to change anything you want.
When I've had a hard day, I want to change everything. But but if you take a step back, alhamdulillah, I've got everything. I couldn't ask for more. I have a loving husband. I have a loving son. I have a loving family, my in-laws. I have my loving family here. I couldn't ask for more.
Yeah, I can testify. He could make a nice tea for you just before the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, did you hear? Did you?
Yeah.
You heard that? Sorry.
That was awesome. Asha is a good husband. Okay, Rashida, please be a lawyer. These two women are very thankful with their lives. They don't want to change anything. So why don't you take both of theirs? So now you have 3 things you can change.
Oh,
Oh my God. Yeah, I can't be a lawyer here, to be honest. Not really, because when as Shala said, when I look back, I think every moment was so precious with my children, and yeah, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to love. But one thing, if I had the option to change, is if I could bring my mom here.
oh,
I just feel, and my
oh,
dad as well. I just feel sometimes
yeah,
quite lonely and helpless in a way, and it's a lot of hard work for me. I just feel like, if I could change that a little bit, that our life is all about our children. It's we live for our children. But sometimes I feel like, if I just could make that little change, that sometimes just to take a little break, and being a mom, being a dad, and then have that support system here. uh, that's the only thing I would want to change, but nothing else.
yeah.
Fine. All 3 of you are very grateful, thankful ladies.
Well, before you end, let me ask you the question number today. If there's any one thing that you would want to change, what would it be?
I would want my mom back. I lost my mom 6 years ago, and I miss her very dearly. And as you know, we do realize the person when we lose them more, and we
Yeah.
miss them. So as a mother, I miss her very much. And if I can change, I would change that in a blink of an eye. I would. As we are growing, we need more. And I actually have to say, I'm very thankful to have my mother-in-law is like my second mother, and she guides me. She's very mindful of I can share anything with her. So that's a blessing right there.
But can I just add that Auntie was wonderful, and I see a lot of Auntie in you,
Oh, thank
and
you.
that's what's really amazing about it.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. You made my day. And your mom is an amazing woman. She is a fighter herself. We grew with each other. In the part of life when life is most beautiful. And
I think all our moms are fighters. I think if the moms weren't fighters, then we wouldn't be coming this far, all of us.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Okay.
Very
I
true.
agree. My mom too. She was a fighter. Yeah, I agree.
She still is. She's actually,
Yeah.
she's not in her native home right now. So she's visiting, different stations. And she's such a positive person. I really have to say that on the screen that I think there's so much to learn. And she's such a blessing in our family. And I truly believe this, that for us, South Asians, that cultural thing that we have our, grandparents or in-laws or, to be around is such a blessing for our kids, and having a positive one. So I'm very lucky to have her, and as Apu said, as her mom, it's the most luckiest thing to have. So as we are ending, did you guys even realize how the time flew?
No,
Great.
No,
So
it's gone very
Mother's
fast.
It
Yeah.
was really nice meeting with you guys. I really enjoyed
Yes,
it.
it's
I was a
been
little
lovely
nervous, like
meeting
I said, I don't like the center of the attention, but I really like it. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Thank
So
And
last message is
for having us. Anam is like my husband's younger brother, so he's like a brother-in-law to me, and he has 2 sisters. We love them, and I really enjoyed it. Thanks to him too, for Channel 52. Yeah, and thank you, Amber.
Thank you very much. Don't go yet. I want to get your last messages to our viewers because this is an international panel. The people are watching you from Sydney, from Kuwait, from Saudi Arabia, from London, Australia. And Mr. Salahuddin is actually saying thank you for responding to his question. So final messages. Rashid, I'll start with you.
Final message as a mom. I would say enjoy every moment. Because when I look back, there were days that I was thinking that I need to be perfect, I need to achieve everything as a professional, as a mom. But I think the most important thing is to love your child, hug them, and then give them that time and enjoy the moment, because you can't be perfect, and that's such a waste of time, to be honest. Just enjoy that moment, because it just goes by. And now when I look at my 11-year-old, I feel like when did she grow up so much, and then not to regret it that you've
Yes. Apu, you go next.
Well, as a mom, again, final message is, enjoy them. Like I said, they grow fast. And then by the time you turn around, they're not home anymore. So enjoy every moment of it, and be there for them, listen to them. And, I know there's going to be agree to disagree and things like that, but you always wanted to show them that you love them, you support them. Support their decision. If they're wrong, try to make them understand why you think it's wrong. Just be there for them. Yeah.
Shaila.
I mean, I agree with Zinat and Rashida. Love as much as you can, more than what you think you can. Someday, they'll know, like the way I know how much my parents loved me when I was young, and I still carry that. And I now know the sacrifices they've made just to bring me up. So I think one day, I can just give what I have and love my child with my whole heart. And maybe one day he'll realize that, my mom loved me, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. So speaking of love, I think this is my single panel where I am seeing so many hearts flying. You guys bringing lots of love. There's lots of your loving audience are sending loves and hearts. Farhana Asif Urmi, she's saying, I was blessed to have my mom, mother-in-law, and sister-in-law by my side helping me with my babies when I was finishing studies. And she is commenting, Jinat Chaudhary, you are wonderful. Sahar is also saying beautiful memories. Thank you, ladies. So lots of loves and hearts. People are, giving towards you guys. It shows that you guys are loving moms. And thank you for lending that love to me with today's evening, with having a cup of tea with me. Stay blessed. And thank you for all of you guys joining us. And again, Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for having us on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.